Okay, hello.
Hello.
Welcome, guys, to episode 63 of Hello Hello, the podcast with me, Ramo, and my lovely co-host, Jens. How are you doing on this fine Wednesday evening, Jens?
I'm doing good. I had a little ultrasound, so I'm a bit sticky.
Yee. I hate that they gotta put that whole, like, gel solution
Yeah.
stuff all over you, you know? Like, surely we have advanced enough in technology to bypass being slathered in lard, basically.
Apparently not.
You know? Like,
Apparently not.
Surely, but apparently not. Yeah, I don't know. I've had one ultrasound in my life, and it was a weird experience just because of that cold slather.
Yeah. It's worse when you I had one near my bladder because I thought I had a appendix thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, you got to come in, but then your bladder needs to be full. Like you need to be on the verge of pissing."
Yeah.
And then they're pushing this thing in while you're like,
because that's it too.
desperate.
It's not like they're just like lightly pushing it out. Like they've got to put a little bit of pressure on for like these ultrasound beams to basically be able to like penetrate your skin and like, everything to it. Yeah. It's an experience, it's an experience.
And they were like, okay, go pee. And then we come back and do the rest.
Oh, it's usually the complete opposite though. Like usually they want you like as empty of anything as possible. They're like, usually the night before they're like, for any other sort of procedure, they're like, don't eat from like 6 p.m. onwards.
Yeah.
Only have water. Like if you even smell food, we can't do the process.
Yeah,
so it's like,
But how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Been another busy week, whatever it is. We've did a fair bit of house shopping actually on the weekend. We bought 2 new rugs. We bought a ton of new cushions.
For the sofa that is on the way.
This impending sofa that is hopefully on its way. I think they estimated the 29th or something like that. So it's about a week away now, which is very exciting. But for this impending sofa that's on its way, we started preparing. We've spent probably more than what we should have over the weekend, but
That's how it is. I saw the lamps you bought. They were quite nice.
Yes. Yeah, we have 2 small, cute little lamps. One you can see actually you probably can't see it because I'll crop it in, but like there's one behind me in the office here, which we got ages ago. And then we bought another small little one to go out like on the entertainment unit. He's adorable. We enjoy him. His name's Clancy.
Oh.
We weren't too inventive. It was literally the name that Beacon had given him as well. So we were like, you know what, it fits. We'll just call him Clancy. And that's his name. So, but we need to get like a big arch one. We want to get to like sit behind the couches and sort of like arch over.
Oh, proper
on top
adult.
Of like we need to go and have a look and start planning and seeing kind of like what we like. I told Emma, like, I did the trek out to Beacon on my own to pick it up, and she went and did some grocery shopping because I was like, it might be a bit smarter if we split the difference and, like, each do one thing because then it'll be a little bit faster and there's both going to do the same thing. But we've never been to this Beacon store, and I was like, Emma, honestly, next time we're out there, like, at the Homemaker Center, we should just pop in because it's a nice store to just wander around. Like, they do have some nice things, so...
Yeah, they've got, like, nice decoration stuff and...
Yeah.
Some things that are quite affordable, which is nice.
Yeah, they weren't too expensive, and there were some other ones that obviously were a bit more expensive. But yeah, I was like, next time we're out there, we'll just pop in and have a look. But yeah, that's basically been the most exciting thing I've done all weekend is just house shopping stuff.
Nice,
nothing too crazy, but it was fun. We were very lucky. The rug we wanted was in stock at the Adairs we went to, so. Usually the last one we've been waiting for has been like months and months and months we've been waiting online, and then it comes online and it immediately sells out because they get like 3 stock in or something. So we're very happy to finally get our hands on a rug, which has made the floor around our bed a lot nicer to walk on.
Oh, nice.
But yeah. Anyways, gents. Enough about us. Shall we jump into the news this week? Because we do have a fair few news topics to get through. And now as well, I might preface this before we sort of kick into it. For those that are maybe waiting for our thoughts on Obi-Wan, I think we're going to wait until next week for when the finale, because the finale comes out tonight, basically. I think we might till next week to give our thoughts on it as a whole, because we have missed the past like 2 or so episodes.
And
So
we're
mine's
at the
still a
end
bit easier then.
anyways.
And we're at the end, exactly. So it's like we're just going to wait another week anyways. I'm literally going to finish recording this and then going to run into the bedroom and start watching Obi-Wan, basically. So,
Yeah.
because last week's episode was so fucking good. Oh my God.
Oh,
But
okay, good.
that's
I
a
need to catch
discussion.
up.
It's a discussion for next time, yeah. But I, unfortunately, found some more PlayStation Plus news, Jens.
I see that.
The good news is that it has finally launched here in Australia. So as of today, the 22nd, the new PlayStation Plus, as we're sort of calling it, has started to roll out. So Sony did make a little not a press, but like a little blog post, I guess, on their website. Basically just stating like, yes, the rollout has started as of today. So this morning sometime it did start. And they're slowly going through sort of everyone's accounts and updating them as they go along. And they're expecting it to be done by tomorrow morning, so the 23rd, sometime in the morning.
Okay.
So when I heard that, I like quickly ran to my PlayStation, turned it on, had a look, and I couldn't see any sort of indication that they'd updated my account. And like I went to the subscriptions thing, it still looked like I was still in the stock standard PlayStation subscription. So it doesn't look like they'd got to mine yet. After this, I might go and have another quick look and see if they've gotten to it yet. But like I couldn't see anything. Even trying to subscribe to the new PlayStation Plus, couldn't see any sort of option to do so yet. So like, by the time you're listening to this on Friday, it should be rolled out and finished and good to go. So, go and check your PlayStation subscriptions and things. But yeah,
I just recently resubscribed.
See, that was the thing.
I did it yesterday.
I quickly ran into the bedroom, and when I was on my subscriptions page, I went, actually, you know what? Let me turn off the auto renew.
Yeah.
Let me just in case. Let me just turn that off. And so because it was meant to tick over, I think, on the 1st of next month. So I had about, again, a week or so of this one remaining, which I think was pretty perfect, But yeah, so with that, there's nothing new to sort of tell. There's nothing more exciting other than some pricing that's come out, because we do now know the local pricing. If you guys did want to know a little bit more info, we do have a couple of blog posts up on our website, hellohellolive.com. And then as well, we've done it for like the past 5 weeks, I feel like, of talking about this goddamn PlayStation Plus thing. So there's tons of info we've gone over the past couple of weeks if you wanted to go back a couple of episodes and listen to some. But I'll quickly run through the cost of sort of each tier for you guys in Australian dollars, because that's kind of the most recent news update for us. So based here, stock standard, PlayStation Plus Essential. If you want 1 month, it's going to be $11.95 a month Australian. If you want 3 months, it's going to be $33.95 Australian. If you want 12 months at a time, it's going to be $79.95 Australian for a whole year. Moving up a tier to PlayStation Plus Extra, we have 1 month at $18.95, which was kind of surprising. 3 months, at $54.95, and 12 months of PlayStation Plus Extra at $134.95 Australian. Bit hefty. You think that's bad though? Let's move up to PlayStation Plus Deluxe, the highest tier offered here for us in Australia. 1 month will be $21.95. 3 months, $63.95, and 12 months, $154.95. Now,
that hurts.
That kind of stings a bit.
That hurts.
And when I was writing this all up, Emma was sitting next to me doing some work, and she was like, have you found anything sort of exciting for this week? And I was like, yeah, the new PlayStation Plus is coming out. And I kind of like grimaced when I said it, and she was like, is there something wrong with that? And I was like, yeah, the pricing is kind of expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting it to be a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit more expensive than like Xbox, Xbox Game Pass kind of thing. But like what? Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, so that comes with both online functionality for an Xbox console and Xbox Game Pass, is like $15.95 Australian or something like that. Per month. PlayStation Plus Extra is even more expensive than that, which would be the sort of comparable like tier, I guess. It's like $19 a month, which is kind of expensive,
Yeah.
Like I think that's how much we pay for Netflix and stuff like that. So
yeah, because like right now, PlayStation one year PlayStation before all of this was $80.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
$79. It was $79.95 roughly. Yeah.
So this is gonna be pretty much double.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, if you wanted to keep stock standard PlayStation Plus as you've sort of known it and stuff like that, it is
Yeah,
going to
then
be
you're
exactly the same
fine.
price at $79.95 or
I
$11.95
need
a
to
month
do the
because that's what
math.
I did. I just paid per month or whatever it was. Um, but yeah, it's kind of expensive. I'm
So
I'm
it's like,
honestly thinking,
mm,
is it cheaper to go for the 12 months at a time?
it
Like,
is. I just did the
yeah.
math. It's $13 a month if you do 12 months.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 Because that's what I was already thinking. I was like, just
Because
on paper,
loyalty will
it
always
like,
be.
yeah. I was like, just on paper when I was writing this out, I was like, it seems cheaper. Like, I didn't do the math at the
Yeah,
time, but
yeah.
like, just on the top of my head, I was like, yeah, look, it seems a little bit cheaper. So I was like, and I never before, I had never really bought a year subscription to PlayStation Plus because I was kind of like, I sporadically use my PlayStation here and there.
Gotcha.
It's not my constant, like, I don't always use it. But here, I'm honestly thinking it's better off to just
I
get the
think you
12
might be
months.
better
Like,
off.
if I'm gonna do it, I may as well just do the 12 months and sort of forget about it, set and forget type thing. Because I'm still pretty adamant that I'm going to go for the extra tier. Like, maybe not so much for me personally, because I have played a couple of the games on there. There are some that I do want to go back to and give another crack. But like Emma as well hasn't played a bunch of those games, because she sort of never owned a PlayStation. So I kind of also want to get it for her so that she can try out some of the games that
Yeah.
I've always, enjoyed or, recommended and whatnot.
I think it really
So
depends
it's, yeah.
on what they have in their archives for deluxe versus extra.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think you
There's not.
have
I don't think there's too much of
spoken
a
about.
draw for me. Yeah, it was in the last blog post I did, I think, or the second last blog post about all this.
Yeah.
I had a whole list of games that were basically going to be in sort of each tier.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I honestly don't think I recall there being anything in deluxe that was like, ooh, let me spend an extra $4 or $3 a month basically to get access to those games. Like it didn't entice me
Mm-hmm.
enough, So I still think I'm gonna stick with just extra,
Yeah.
It seems the best sort of bang for buck, I guess. As silly as as silly as it sounds to say, when we're saying, going as to how much more expensive it is, it kind of feels like it's the best bang for buck. So
It's very smart of them. The jump between essential to extra is big, but then the jump between extra to deluxe is $20.
exactly, yeah,
It's very
exactly.
smart there.
And that's I forgot what class I learnt it in. But yeah, a lot of companies do that.
Oh
Where,
yeah.
it's kind of like you think in your head, you're like, oh, it's only $3 extra a month.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can swing that.
But
Like,
really, they've conned $3 off of you that you
exactly,
weren't
exactly.
going to spend
Yeah.
prior. Anyways,
Yeah.
touche.
Anyways,
PlayStation.
yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna after this. I'm gonna go check it out and see if I have it anyways, and
Oh,
hopefully
yeah,
be able
yeah,
to
yeah.
report back and see how it all works and whatnot. But in some more Sony news, gens, apparently, very strange. Sony are planning to announce a couple of new headsets along with a monitor or two. In a weird sort of
together?
announcement. I don't know. But yeah, so some of these leaks came out earlier in the week. And there were some images alongside it too, so it doesn't seem like it's just like people, being like, okay, cool, maybe they're doing this or maybe they're doing that. There's like promotional images that also leaked alongside it, so it seems like it's fairly like forward on in its life cycle, and it is going to be announced sometime soon. If these promo images are already sort of turning up, they're like in the final stages, sort of ready to announce something, And so a couple of these headsets I'm going to go over now. I hate the naming of them. I can't stand them. I don't know
It's
why.
dumb.
I don't know if it's just like a placeholder name, but I really hope it is because they sound stupid. So the first headset we have is called the Sony InZone H3. It is a wired headset. It's going to be the cheapest of the three, and they have what's calling 360-degree spatial sound. So, and that spatial sound seems to be across all of them. So no matter what one you get, you're going to get this 360 spatial sound. Moving up a tier, we have the Sony InZone H7, which is going to be the first of the wireless headsets. Same deal, has the 360 spatial sound, and is going to have the best battery life, probably because it's not running anything like noise cancellation or like any sort of intensive drivers, which the Sony InZone H9 is running. So again, another wireless headset, has the same 360-degree spatial sound, is going to be the most expensive of the three of them. And this is because it comes with noise cancellation built into it as well. they all have microphones on them as well. So I'm not too sure, Jens, if you're familiar with what Sony currently offers
I
as a
do.
PlayStation 5 headset. So it's kind of just like a pair of headphones without like a discrete boom microphone on it. Like it does have
Yeah.
a mic, but this microphone's like built into the ear cup, so it's kind of like just any old Bluetooth headset that you would pick up from a store.
Right. Yeah.
Not too sure how that microphone goes in terms of like picking up audio around the house as well. Like if you had the PlayStation in the living room or things, I'm not too sure how it would go at like differentiating between you talking and like someone else talking in the kitchen or
Mm,
like but hopefully with all these ones, they do have, like I said, that discrete sort of boom microphone on them. So it should be a bit better at picking up like direct audio from you and sort of only you, I guess.
yeah.
Um, and I like I said before, I hate the names. In Zone, I can already tell the marketing they're going to go with it is be like, get in the zone with the Sony In Zone.
Yeah.
I can't,
Yeah.
I don't know why they did it, but yeah, shocking.
Strange.
Shocking. Moving on though, onto the monitors, which is kind of more surprising than the headphones themselves. But yeah, apparently Sony's releasing 2 monitors. One of these monitors is set to be 4K, running at 144 hertz refresh rate, and the other is set to be a 1080p one running at 240 hertz refresh rate. Both are going to offer variable refresh rate support and low latency inputs as well.
Mm,
Not too sure what the exact sizing of them is going to be. I would assume
yeah.
27 inches or something like that. I would assume, because that's usually what I say is to be like the best middle ground for like a monitor that you're going to be sitting in front of. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that they're releasing monitors when typically consoles are sort of touted as like a lounge room or like a living room type of like
That's true.
gaming sort of like peripheral, I guess, like typically, like obviously we have a slightly different use case where we're like recording off them and things like that, so they typically are plugged into our monitors through a capture card or something. But yeah, interesting they're going this monitor route and not sort of, being like, no, buy one of our much more expensive Sony TVs to go
Mm.
alongside your PlayStation 5, like
Yeah, that
it's
is
yeah.
interesting. I wonder if they're like, because you would assume that it's for PlayStation. Like you would
Yeah,
assume
and
this.
that's what they're sort of gonna probably brand them alongside, is that they're like, they're built and made for playing PlayStation 5 at like its highest capability. Because yes, a lot of TVs these days, especially sort of the cheaper end 4K ones that you are getting, as much as they do offer 4K, they're not pushing anywhere near the higher refresh rates that
Yeah.
these consoles can output. So a lot of the cheaper 4K TVs are typically running at 50 or 60 hertz and then maybe pushing up to 100 hertz. Not a lot
Yeah,
of
they're
TVs
not
are able to
quite
push
there
200
yet.
hertz and stuff like that. So there are a couple,
There
but you're
are.
spending like $3,000, $4,000,
Yeah.
to get those type of tiers, and not a lot of people want to do that. Unless it's going to be like a dedicated sort of cinema lounge room TV that they're going to have for the next
Yeah,
5 to 10 years or something. Not everyone is upgrading their TVs like every 2 or 3 years or so to sort of get the next best thing. So people sort of. But it's just interesting. Sorry. I do wonder how far away these announcements are going to be, the
Mm-hmm.
official announcements. Because like I said, if there's all these like promo images floating around there, they're probably just around the corner. And we did just have uh, the Sony event like not too long ago. And with all the other E3 announcements, so it would have been kind of like a thing to announce alongside some of those,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know, but kind of interesting, you know?
Speaking of TV, um,
Mm. Yes.
Xbox, uh, are
On the other end of the spectrum.
Xbox are gonna have a TV streaming app. I don't know if this
This
is
is crazy.
exactly cloud gaming. I think it might be.
Yeah, I think in
Or a
the sort of
version.
screenshots that I've seen, it is going to be like branded as Xbox Cloud Gaming or like X Cloud, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
It's just going to be running on
A TV.
like a TV app,
Yeah.
basically.
Which is
you know?
quite cool and it's like,
Yeah.
why hasn't this happened before? But basically Xbox are gonna have an app where you connect, and pretty much you don't need a box, you don't need a console, you just need this app, and internet.
All you need, I think, is an internet connection and a Microsoft account, and you're
That's it.
off to the races. Like that's
Pretty
it. And
much.
one of the new
Oh,
TVs.
that's
obviously.
true. It is only yeah, that's true. It's only
Yeah.
coming out to the upcoming 2022 models of Samsung and LG TVs.
Yeah.
That's currently where that's like the standard, because that's what the TVs that will support the refresh rate.
Yeah.
and
it is only the higher end models of those
yes,
ones as
absolutely.
well. I don't think, because there's like a whole range of these new Samsung and LG TVs that are coming out. Obviously, all at different price points,
Yeah.
offering different sort of
It'll be like
perks and
4K
things like that.
onwards, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they should all offer 4K, but it's like
Oh,
it's only going to be the higher ones that
$4,000,
have like the probably something around that range.
Yeah.
Honestly, the stock standard like 85-inch Samsung TVs I think that we have at the store are all around like 2,900 to 3,900. And then you can get even more expensive ones again. So
yeah. But this is exciting. The app,
it is
basically, like we said, you just need an internet. It lets you connect a Bluetooth headset to the TV, so you can communicate during multiplayer games, as well as any Bluetooth controller. So you can use your PlayStation 5 controller. It doesn't have to necessarily be an Xbox controller. And yeah, so Microsoft are going to aim to deliver native 1080p streaming at 60 frames per second. And all the TVs in the line suggested will be supporting the app and utilize upscaling to make the footage look a bit better than what it is. So yeah, very cool.
And this is true. That's all dependent on your internet connection as well. So like here in Australia, we do have a little bit of a dodgy internet connection depending on where you live and like what the rollout of the NBN is. So like, wiring your TV up via internet is, heavily recommended. But from the tests that we've heard and read of, users were fully capable of gaming on a wireless 5 gigahertz connection. So it is possible. These tests, I think, were done in the US, so they might have a slightly higher sort of like internet bandwidth connectivity, but theoretically it should work. Just depending on, like I said, your current internet connection. I would assume here where I am, I would be able.
I think you would be able
to stream like these sort of xCloud games. I'd be very interested in trying it out.
I'm curious on the latency. So especially with
that's
multiplayer.
the thing too. Like, well, not just that. Like, multiplayer latency, sure, but like I wanted the latency between connecting the Bluetooth like controller or whatever it is, or like a headset.
The inputs,
because typically, like on most TVs that offer Bluetooth, it is kind of like just a very basic Bluetooth implementation. Like it's not anything that's meant to be used for like anything too crazy, So I'm assuming if they're built sort of around this whole idea that it is going to be a one-stop like entertainment shop kind of thing, I'm assuming it's going to have a nicer Bluetooth connection than most other TVs, but we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
But yeah. So if you have the latest and greatest TV and are able to try it, let us know.
Or if you're looking to upgrade.
That's true. This could be a good time to upgrade because there are some great.
I think
it is end of financial year.
Yeah, I think they said they were coming out on the 30th of June, I think is when the new ones are starting to roll out.
Is that the end of the financial year?
So it's right at the end of the financial year. Yeah. Like right at the end.
Funny that.
So yeah.
But yeah.
But I doubt these TVs were going to be part of any good fat deals, honestly.
True.
Most 2022 model stuff is like,
if
you either
there's
get
like
it
a
at
new
full price
model
or you don't
coming.
get it, Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes. Exciting. I would never have expected like this to be possible at any sort of point,
It's what you would think growing up, like.
Yeah,
because
it was like
there was
the
a lot
future
of
goal.
Yeah, because there was a lot of TV gaming when you grew up, and then it changed to, you're just gonna play on your PC now.
Yeah,
but then bringing it back, so
but it's also
exciting.
crazy too that like Xbox is so adamant that like streaming is the future and like the way to go, and like paying for these subscriptions and stuff like that they are literally offering all of their like first party games, which were typically played on their $500 consoles.
Yep.
Without that console now, like you don't even need to go and buy an Xbox controller or headset if you already have something similar at home.
Yep.
Like, so theoretically, you could just pay the $15 a month for this xCloud, and you basically get an Xbox built into your TV.
Pretty
like,
much. It's insane. Like, to think about that you don't need a console. You don't
Yeah.
need to
Yeah.
fork out an extra $500 purely to get access to this thing. I mean, maybe it's because of how successful PC Game Pass has been for them. They're like,
Yeah.
well, people aren't buying the Xbox. They're going to PC using it this way.
Yeah.
There's probably a market there.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Maybe they're giving
is
up with the
possible.
console race between PlayStation of like,
Well, I feel like
It
a lot of
has-
people are going to start giving up on like a traditional console, as a whole. Like, I feel like, and this is kind of the start, I feel like, of that maybe phasing out,
Yeah.
Who knows if it's going to catch on? Like, maybe not a lot of people are going to get it.
I mean,
Like,
it's a big
and
ask.
it is. Like,
For, like,
so
the
first you got to
latest-
fork out,
Yeah, exactly.
$4,000, $5,000 for these brand new TVs, and then you got to fork out an ongoing subscription to get xCloud. Then you might also think maybe I should upgrade my internet connection because it's going to need like a
Yeah,
large
it's-
bandwidth, and
It's quite a
it's
big
like all these
ask.
extra things are adding on. It just got to take a couple of people to sort of commit and really get the ball rolling, and then who knows,
Mm.
But yeah. Anyways, gents, moving on. Have you ever played any of the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games before?
Not really. I should.
Not real. Wow. Okay. Yeah, you should really give them a go. Because they recently released, I should say recently, but like a good couple of years ago now, they released remakes of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Mhm.
And it came out basically on every sort of new console, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, all the new Xboxes, and then even got a pretty successful port to the Switch as well. Which I've seen a bunch of people on like the Nintendo subreddit being like, this is how you should do a port to the Switch. Because a couple of the other ports have been like, they're a bit dodged, like a little bit laggy and things like that. But apparently this one runs like butter. So they did something right. But just this week recently, some news sort of came out from the man himself, Tony Hawk, that apparently Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 was coming, but Activision Blizzard scrapped it halfway through. So to start off, I'll give you a little bit of context. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remakes that just came out like I was talking about, were developed by Vicarious Visions, who also developed some of the other previous Tony Hawk games in the franchise. So they kind of already knew what they were doing a little bit, These remakes were extremely well received and lauded by many as a return to form after the mess that was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. That kind of mess was that Activision realized that their IP for the Tony Hawk's franchise was going to expire at the end of 2015 if they didn't release a game using that license. And so basically they rushed out Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 and it was a mess. But I guess successful enough to them, they got to keep the IP and the license anyway, so they kind of got what they wanted. But yeah, so moving forward now, this week, like I said, in a Twitch stream with streamer Andy THPS, or Andy Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Hawk himself reveals that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 were in the works as a bundled deal similar to the remakes that just came out of 1 and 2. Hawk explains that the next remakes were in the works up until Vicarious Visions became a subsidiary of Activision Blizzard towards the beginning of 2021, where they kind of merged. Typically before, like, Activision was its own company, Blizzard was its own company. They then merged at the sort of start of 2021, and this is when this all sort of came out. And then because of this, its staff was assigned to work on various other Blizzard properties. Before the change, Vicarious Visions had been a subsidiary of Activision alone. According to Hawk, they got absorbed in the deal, and then the studio disbanded. Hawk then claimed that in the wake of the merger, Activision Blizzard had reportedly gone to other studios seeking out developers that might have been interested in working on the remake. He then explains that Activision Blizzard didn't really trust anyone in the way they trusted Vicarious Visions. So the publisher took other pitches from other studios asking what to do with the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series. So basically being like, hey, Naughty Dog, if you were to make a Tony Hawk's game, how would you do it? Like, give us a pitch, maybe we can sling the IP and you can make the next one for, like, kind of that sort of deal. And then Hawk goes on to say that the publisher didn't like anything they heard and, quote, that was it. Which is very interesting. I didn't think I would have heard of anything like this week, especially from the man himself. But there is still a little bit of hope out there for people that did enjoy Pro Skater 1 and 2, because it was the remakes themselves, were some of the best selling in the franchise, if not mistaken. I think they were like the quickest selling games in the Tony Hawk's franchise ever. And like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 were both extremely popular games as well back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing the shit out of these games. And like I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was the thing that got me into skateboarding as a kid.
Yeah, right.
Was playing the games. Like not so much seeing it on TV because like I didn't really have access to like, the X Games or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like playing these games and like going over to my cousin's house and playing them together was what got me into skateboarding. So it was cool to see these remakes come out, and I picked them up day one. Like they were great. It just is how I remember sort of when I played them. And so I do really hope that they do make these remakes of 3 and 4 because they were some of my favorites, of the franchise.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe because when they pitched to other publishers and then didn't really have anything, maybe they're like, oh, maybe we let it expire and we just make our own, like in our own way. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I'm not too sure, like, if they can sort of ruddle up a sort of half studio similar to what Vicarious used to be before they were kind of like absorbed into other like Activision Blizzard type of studios and whatnot. I'm sure that they'll be like, look, you know what? The demand is out there. The people want it.
Yeah, maybe the internet will speak.
And look, maybe this was like a perfectly placed seed. Like, maybe they were like, hey, Tony, go out there, leak this little bit of news.
It's weird for him to say this.
Get your footer out there. We'll see how the internet responds, and then depending on how that goes, we'll green light or red light the 3 and 4 remakes.
I think you're right.
That seems to be like a very plausible sort of, plausible thing. Because it just seems a little bit too good to be true. That like he just happened to be on a call with this Twitch streamer at the time, and it just happened to be like
Yeah,
leaked
strange.
a little bit.
Strange.
But yeah, I don't know. I fingers crossed. I really do hope that they've released them because, like I said, I played them as forever. And me and Emma have been playing Clone Hero a little bit, which is like the modded version of Guitar Hero. And when I'm flicking through all these songs that are on there, there are a couple that I remember from hearing on the soundtrack of like all the old Tony Hawk, and I'm like, man, what a time, like.
I wish I could play Clone Hero on stream. It's bloody DMCA.
Honestly, we have been tempted because it's like I would be considered like small enough that like surely no one's gonna really see it, and like I would just not have the VOD recorded.
Yeah.
Because I have been very tempted.
You could gamble.
Don't you worry. I have been very tempted.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. Speaking of remakes, Resident Evil Village is adding a third-person camera mode, which is interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah.
Basically, this is going to be for the traditionalists of Resident Evil, as it's always been a third-person camera in the original games. And so when Resident Evil basically was on the PC, there were mods. And so
they changed it when Village came out. When like all up until Resident Evil 7, they had been third person or like a little bit closer third person, like right over the shoulder.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Village really changed it. Yeah.
So, which is interesting that people are still holding on to this camera mode.
Yeah.
Because I honestly, I don't
know what one I prefer.
Same.
Like,
I'm indifferent.
Because like I really enjoyed all the like the remakes of the earlier games that did have that third person camera, and then I have really both enjoyed both Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8. So it's like, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of indifferent, I guess. Like, I could have them either way. I guess so long as it doesn't make you sick, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like,
that's true. And like,
I know some first person perspectives can make you motion sick. Like it. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're gonna add this, just as a if you need this. But anyways, they're adding a brand new story as well as new mercenaries that's coming out on October 28th, 2022. Yeah. So if you need more Village in your life, it is on the way. But it will also, be third person. Or
I think
an option to be third person.
Put that in the blog post if I'm not mistaken. I think the last week's one that I did, because they announced the Capcom event, alongside a couple of other new like info stuff. Yeah, you can play as like Lady Dimitrescu. There's like a new mercenaries thing coming out. Like, yeah. So it's every Resident Evil Village fan's like, ideal situation. You can finally play as the tall vampire lady. Like,
that'd be fun.
What more do you want? Like, so yeah. And it's good timing too, because it's going to come out October 28th. It's going to get people in the mood for Resident Evil. And then just a couple of months later, in like March of the next year, 2023, is when the Resident Evil 4 remake is slated to come out. So it's like,
yes,
you're kind of getting back-to-back Resident Evil-ness for a bit there,
I'm very excited.
But yeah, I am too. I do still need to go and finish off a little bit of Village.
Oh, you haven't finished it fully?
No, not yet. No, not fully. But same deal. It's like I have the TV set up in the bedroom at the moment. It's like I just don't like playing these types of games laying in bed. I just sort of want to sit up on a couch or like, even in my office chair and just like play them. But it's like it's just a little bit awkward to sort of lay down and play these half intensive games because I just feel too relaxed, Like,
yeah, that's fair enough.
As silly as it sounds, it's I don't know.
I get it.
So hopefully in a week or two when we get our couches, I'll start playing more of it again.
Yeah.
And I'll finish it off.
That'd be fun.
But yeah. Anyways, Jens, that was the news for this week. Anything else fun you wanted to add on? Anything coming up that you're excited for, or?
I don't think so.
Like that?
I don't. No,
there's nothing off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't think of anything either. There's too much that's coming out. But yeah, like I said, if you guys haven't already, do go back to hellohellolive.com and give those blog posts a read. There was a bunch of stuff that we wrote up again last week for all of the E3 but not E3 stuff that came out. So you might have missed a couple of things that's in there. But yeah, other than that, guys, as always, thank you for listening and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week, basically. Bye-bye.
Bye.